Hey, yo, Bree, you good, huh? You kind of zoned out there for a second.
Damn, Rico, you killing them.
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just thinking about something, so.
What's on your mind, huh?
Revolution. All truth here blowing of the trumpets. Whole world turning wild and rambunctious. No cut cars, I ain't with the dumb shit. I'ma whip it up, yeah, even with a bum wrist. Top notch with these inked-fied blotches. Now the news got the streets like a mosh pit. I don't rap on these beats, I just hawk spit. Luke 36, keep a Glock under my armpit. I've been feeling so at peace, but I'm militant. I've been drinking brown liquor, but I'm vigilant. Dreams of home, they took me off my habitat. Searching for the throne while I'm swinging with a battle axe. Keep it real with these women, can you handle that? I ain't into doing tricks, I'm no acrobat. I done seen kings fall like an avalanche. All you see is a head with a manual. All point with your heart on a dagger. My heart bleeds for my people, they don't fathom. And oh Lord, if they seen our pain, they be praying for these streets we came. Give me strength to release this game, so the soldiers will increase their aim. This world is sick and deranged, the Lord is kindling flames. So we breaking out these chains. Yeah, we breaking out these chains. This revolution in my thoughts. Oh Lord, can you tell me what I'm seeing? This revolution in my thoughts. Oh Lord, can you tell me what I'm seeing? Zoned out to the point I'm dreaming. I don't think you get what I'm seeing. This the rise of the lost tribe kingdom. This revolution in my thoughts. Sometimes I be in my mind, I be drifting away, having visions in the flashbacks, but I'm pushing fast forward, that is real rap. I make music for the bust down Pontiac. Revolution in the heart where the struggle at. Revolution when you tired and keep coming back.
Damn, Rico, you killing them.
Yeah, revolution when they lie but you ain't sweating that. Revolution when you cry but you pass that. Revolution from the streets to a class act. Yeah, the truth hit and put us on a fast track. Back in junior high they did me like a lab rat. Popping Ritalin and Adderall. Revolution cause I don't need that at all. Let my mind run free like a catalog. So free like a bird in volcanic storms. Ducking fire from these liars in Babylon. War pain on my face, get my tribal on. I don't have no love for these mighty cons. No dialogue, I will live and die alone. Before I bend, break, or fold, truth being told. Let it elevate your soul, mental state is bold. Won't hesitate on goals, I ain't playing roles.
Shalom, Israel. It's your boy, New Breed, coming through with another live stream. And if you like that track right there, it's called Revolutionary Thoughts. You can find that song on New Breed Music and Motivation. I am the artist on that song. My artist name is I Am New Breed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast. I'm glad y'all catching it. I see y'all rolling in the chat pretty quick. I see I got my moderators in the house. Omarion Slaughter, DJ, Tatted, the Messenger. What it do? Salute to all the moderators. I see King C3 up in here. Yo, what it do? I see Josh C is in the house. Bulls, what it do, family? Yeah. Vlad G's in here. Tavon Austin's in here. Joshua David's in the house. Yeah, Selena's in here. Man, that's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's up. We're going to have a very informative live stream. Today, we're going to go into some sources. We're going to go into some scriptures. And we're going to cover a topic that's not often covered in the spiritual community. It's not often covered in the conscious community. It's not often covered by those of the Hebraic faith. And it's also not covered in a Christian church. We're talking about entrepreneurship, empowerment, and we're talking about financial stability. We're going into detail about these things because they play a lot of, let's rephrase that. They hold a lot of merit to what type of respect people get as a nation. It's just that simple. We're going to be talking about empowerment, purpose, 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 purpose. And we're gonna really get into it because listen, when you hear from the Christian church, when you hear anything about finances, money, business, if you hear anything coming from the Christian church regarding that topic, it's typically being spoke from a very opportunistic standpoint. Usually there's a pastor trying to get over on a herd. He's trying to fleece the flock. He's trying to deceive the people. And very rarely do they actually go into the scriptures and show people how to empower themselves. A lot of these pastors in these Christian churches are afraid to lose their congregation. They don't want to give everyone the tools necessary to become financially free. If you look at the thumbnail of this particular live stream, you see money literally falling out of the sky. Some people was probably like, what is this? Money falling out of the sky. You know, the old saying goes that money doesn't grow on trees, but it does fall out of the sky. How many of y'all, by show of ones in the chat, truly believe that the Most High gives you everything you deserve in life? By a show of ones in the chat, how many of y'all truly believe that the Most High gives you everything that you deserve in life? I want to see how many people are really believing that the Most High is their provider. Okay? I see a lot of ones in the chats. That is what's up. That's what's up. Because, you know, somehow through persecution from our captivity, somehow from being disenfranchised as a nation, we lost sight of the facts that we were once a royal people. That if we honor the Most High God, all things should be given unto us. And I feel like we need a reminder. You know, there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of impositions that's coming against mankind. You know, there's imminent threats. But I want to steer the direction back towards us as people. I want to steer the direction back towards dealing with things firsthand within our communities. Dealing with things how we should be dealing with them. And we're going to go into some sources today because I don't think we recognize or realize how powerful our dollar is. We don't understand how powerful our dollar is. And when I say our dollar, I'm talking about the black dollar. Now, you're not going to get this type of topic from your average black content creator. This is not a topic that is very popular, although it should be popular. These are the topics that we really should be discussing right now. Somebody said this is their first live. That's what's up. I'm glad you're catching it for the first time. As you enter the chat, make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way in. I have a lot of sources to go through, and I have a lot of scriptures to go to. There's a lot of information in this chat. Terry, thank you for the $5 contribution. Highly appreciate it. There's a lot of information to go to, and I want to make sure I don't have to reiterate the information that's provided for you. So if you can just allow the video to fluctuate by showing your support, it will be highly appreciated. But you know what? First and foremost, we're going to go to our source. All right. Now, typically, the way I format this is I normally would go to my source last, but I feel like we need to hear what the source has to say so we can set the stage for this Bible lesson this afternoon. Now, I'm going to a documentary. This documentary was aired in 1954, ladies and gentlemen. It was aired in 1954, and it's called The Secret of Selling the Negro. That's right. The Secret of Selling the Negro. Now, this particular documentary, I've actually reacted to it before, but it's several parts to it. So I normally react to portions of it at a time, but I'm going to go into a particular portion of it in this particular stream, and you're going to understand the importance, the impact of our dollars, the way we spend our money. And you're going to find out what these other nations, you're going to find out what they did to make sure that the black dollar was filtered back through the system. See, when we were released from slavery, ladies and gentlemen, we had a new spending power. This new spending power was extorted. They found out that our dollar was going to build this nation. And I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth with no further ado. I'm going to go back and go ahead and play this particular documentary. I'm going to react to some of it. And I want y'all to listen very carefully. Be very attentive with what's being said in this particular documentary. Thank you for your $5 contribution, Spiritual Socrates. Appreciate you.
Turn stick, grab number 2 camera, and all set.
One moment.
Stand by.
The secret of selling the Negro. That's what the source is, ladies and gentlemen. Just give it some time and be patient. Let's go ahead and fast forward it. All right, here we go.
Hello, I'm Bob Trout. I've got a story here that I think is big, really big, because it's bound to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market, millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend. That's right, I said $15 billion.
$15 billion to spend. Here's a new market that needs to be tapped into. Now, this source is pretty reputable because this source goes into the Federal Reserve. It goes into the Library of Congress. It pulls up some real details about the power of our dollars.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? The surprising thing is that it's a fresh market, still full of opportunities. It grew up so fast, got so big in a hurry, that few of us realize its scope. Now these days, nobody's likely to pass up chances to sell. And yet right here in our own front yard, there's a neglected market. There's money waiting to be spent. To get the story of this market, to be able to tell you the secret of selling the Negro, we did a lot of digging. We talked to leading businessmen, to customers, and to salesmen. We went to Washington, D.C. We set up cameras and other key points around the nation. And out of this all, there emerged a story, the story of a new market.
Now look, they put cameras in place in all the shopping centers, and they literally studied us. They studied to find out what our spending habits were. And this is going to get quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to find out just how powerful what's in your pocket is. And you're going to find out from a spiritual and a physical level. And you're going to find out how to change the narrative of what our enemies put in place.
Yes, this is the market we're talking about, the new Negro family. Their name is Wells or Wilson, Smith or Brown or Alexander or Breen. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York.
Thank you for the super chat, Enlightened Darkness. Got you with the 10-piece. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of the thousands.
And notice they're paying the most attention to major cities. All right. They're looking at all the major cities, DC, New York, Detroit, so on and so forth, to basically find out what our spending methods are, our habits.
In cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before.
A buying power they never enjoyed before. So when we were released from slavery, we had this newfound power to have our own money in our pockets. And now they had to find out, how are we going to spend this money? How are we going to move around? And how do we capitalize off of how they operate among society, as far as how they spend their cash, right? Listen carefully. This is some great information.
There are good prospects for practically all types of goods and services. All too often, though, they are overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas, because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro lives pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too. But just the same, a lot of old doubts and opinions keep cropping up over and over again.
I don't like to do business with Negroes. They're drifters. You can't keep track of them.
Wow, this is racist. Y'all hear this? Good gracious, this was aired on TV. Now, I don't like to do business with Negroes. They're drifters. You just can't keep up with them. And listen, this documentary was designed to educate the white business owners into making sure that we became consumers. All right? So they had to kill some of the negative stereotypes about us, so the white business owners in all other nations who own businesses can basically turn us into consumers, redirect the energy, and learn how to sell to us, how to appeal to us, how to make sure that we digging in our pockets and we giving it to someone outside of us, outside of our community. Now, let me just say this real quick. I visited Black Wall Street. If you check on my channel, if you go back last year, I went out to Black Wall Street. I interviewed Black entrepreneurs. I interviewed Black business owners. I got a lot of very impactful information embedded in my conscious just from being out there about how our dollar should be fluctuating at least for a year before it leaves our community. And that's how Black Wall Street was actually established. Us just keeping everything internal. But let me go ahead and continue here.
Yes, although a lot of people think that way, the truth is that 1 out of every 3 Negro families living in cities today owns its own home. That figure comes directly from the United States Bureau of Census.
Maybe so, but Negroes are poor credit risks.
Not more of a credit risk than any other group.
You see, negative stereotypes. Said not more of a credit risk than any other group.
Actually, the Negro homebuyer meets his payments faithfully.
Said actually, the Negro homebuyer meets his payments faithfully.
Often more faithfully than other race groups in the same economic level.
So forget what you've been told about us. All those are stereotypes. We're actually more likely to pay our bills on time as a whole. According to this documentary in 1954, we were paying our bills on time. Our families were responsible. All right. Now let's continue.
That's the information we got from people who ought to know. The National Association of Real Estate Boards.
And that's coming from the National Association of Real Estate Boards. Very reputable source. All right. So during that time, yes, we were actually paying our rent on time. We were more responsible than any other nation of people. All right.
Well, maybe, but I've always heard that Negroes buy shoddy, poor quality merchandise.
I don't know where the hell he heard that. He said, well, I always heard Negroes buy shoddy, poor merchandise. I don't know what Negroes he done seen spin, because Negroes, they getting the best of the best. You see what Negroes did with these masks. They said, oh, we wearing masks? We want Versace mask. Oh, yeah? Tennis shoes? Oh, we got to have them J's. Throw some J's on it. So he had that way backwards. It's actually the other way around. Negroes have very expensive tastes. And it just comes, it comes from the point of us being royalty. We were kings and queens of this earth. We have very expensive tastes. We don't like cheap. So let's let the narrator break down these stereotypes and correct the other racist sounding gentleman in the background.
No, it's just the other way around.
Yep.
According to leading researchers, in proportion to population and income, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group. You see, there are a lot of confused notions about the Negro customer. But when you dig right down and find out about them, they just don't hold water. Negroes...
All those stereotypes, they just don't hold water. Not true. And if you're enjoying this stream, hit the thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't expect topics like this to be popular. It's a reason for that. These type of topics are a threat because it's just the truth. All right. So I don't expect these to spread naturally. So I'm gonna need y'all's help and just hitting the thumbs up, because our people need to hear this. These are the type of conversations we need.
Own homes. They meet their payments faithfully. They buy good brands of merchandise. So why let a lot of old-fashioned ideas hurt profits? Take a look at the real facts. Here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, some amazing facts and figures about this new market have been uncovered. For a first-hand report, we would like to take you directly to the United States Department of Commerce to hear this story from the Secretary of Commerce.
Right to the Department of Commerce in D.C. You don't get no more reputable than this, ladies and gentlemen.
Himself. Here is the Honorable Sinclair Weeks, the Secretary of Commerce of the United States.
In the Department of Commerce, we are constantly alert to trends that mean a healthier national economy, better business for the nation as a whole. Recently, we have been interested in a rising young market, one that represents a huge potential for goods and services. I'm referring to the new Negro market. The tremendous buying power of this group is backed, of course, by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans.
Wow, in 1954, from the 30s, from the mid-30s to the mid-50s, we made more money than everybody in this country. Yeah. And this is coming directly from the Department of Commerce, ladies and gentlemen. From the mid-30s to the mid-50s, that's right. What they call African Americans made more money than every other nation, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Department of Commerce, right? All right.
Just take a look at a few figures. An official Department of Commerce report shows that at least 1/3 of the Negroes living in cities earn from $2,000 to $5,000 a year. Today, the average Negro wage earner brings home a paycheck 4 times larger than the one he collected in 1939. As a whole, the Negro market has a total income of about $15 billion every year.
Good gracious, $15 billion every year. That's astounding.
And after taxes, Negro families still have many billions of dollars to spend. Here is a buying power that cannot help but have a tremendous effect on our national economy and on business prosperity in general. When these dollars are spent for a wide range of goods, services, and employment, business everywhere is bound to feel the impact.
Listen, basically what what this man just said from the Department of Commerce. What he just said was, if we don't get our hands in this, this could be bad for every other nation. This could be bad for everybody. If we don't find a way to filter this money back into the system, this can be an issue. Let me listen. Let me let you hear him one more time.
Economy and on business prosperity in general. When these dollars are spent for a wide range of goods, services, and employment, business everywhere is bound to feel the impact.
I'm telling you, they needed our goods and services. They needed us. They needed us to boost the economy. They needed us to actually create what you know now as the stock market. What you know now as Wall Street. That came from slave dollars being released from slavery. That came from the $15 billion spending power that we had, right? Somebody said it right. Daryl says they need us now. Absolutely. We're going to get there, Daryl. We're going to get there, Daryl. Because this is about empowerment. This is about purpose. This is about entrepreneurship. And let me just say this, like, when I speak on empowerment, it's going to have layers to it. Because everything that we have provided for us come from the heavenly realm. It comes from the Most High God. And these scriptures are going to tell us how to get back on top. All right? The scriptures are going to tell us. It's going to be up to each and every last one of y'all to listen carefully and take heed to the words in the book. But it tells us how to get back to where we once were. All right? But first, let me play a little bit more of this source here, and then we're going to go into some scriptures.
This new buying power has resulted in a class Negro market, a profitable, above-average income group of consumers. For example,
we went from being slaves to consumers. We went from slaves to consumers. There's no freedom in that. Freedom is when the nation of people, your people, have their own. That's freedom. When they're building on their own, when they have their own. Where the dollars have their faces on it, where the dollars are fluctuating through our families and our community. That's freedom. So being the tail and not the head, and always having to be the one who has to be lended to, and not the one doing the lending, technically, that keeps us in bondage. That means we're still in bondage, all right? To this day, we're in bondage until we change the narrative and start thinking differently. At the beginning of this stream, I played my song called Revolutionary Thoughts. Listen, it starts up here. We all got to get on the same thought process. We got to change the way we think, ladies and gentlemen. The way we think is not working.
the nation's largest newspaper and magazine research organization, Daniel Starch and staff, reports these significant figures. More than 51% of the readers of Ebony magazine have a record player in their homes. Almost 64% own a television set. And almost 78% enjoy the convenience of an electric refrigerator.
So we had all the amenities that we desired. We had all the appliances, all the amenities. Our homes was good. Most of us had everything. Until this day, we still have all our amenities. A lot of us have the flat screen TVs. It ain't too many Negro households you can pass that ain't got an Xbox, a PlayStation, a flat screen TV, and all the amenities needed, right? It was the same thing back then, all right? But let's go on.
It is also a fact, and this is from the magazine The Food Field Reporter, that Negroes spend almost $3 billion a year for food alone.
We spend $3 billion a year on food alone, and that's back in 1954. It's a lot of money. 15 billion, oh, that's a whole lot.
Per capita, they buy more cosmetics, drugs, and toiletries than anyone else in the country.
We buy more drugs, cosmetics, and toiletries than more than anybody in the country, and we still do. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they do a census on this now, we will be shocked. Our habits haven't changed, all right? But we gotta redirect the energy. Let's continue to play a little more here.
And their children are better educated too, because since 1930, enrollment in Negro colleges is up 2,500%. But really, to recognize the importance of this class Negro market, we must realize that something has been happening economically in our country. People are on the move. The population is shifting. The makeup of metropolitan populations today is different than it was just a few short years ago.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention. There's a shift going on, all right? And just like back in 1954, where people were shifting off into the cities, the total opposite is happening now, and we're shifting back off into the countries, all right? So this shift means something. I'm going to break it down what this shift means here. But the same thing is happening. History is repeating itself right now. And the Most High has his hands in it. All this stuff that's going on, a pandemic and everything, you're going to see how the Most High is forcing us to do certain things. At least he's forcing the elected, the chosen, to maneuver differently. And you're going to find out.
To give you a better idea of what we mean, we set up several cameras, candid cameras, in a number of shopping locations. Take a look at these shoppers. Notice what a large proportion of them are Negro. What's the reason? It's simply this. Negro families are moving into the cities where there are more job opportunities.
So we started moving into the cities because there are more job opportunities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, guess what? Under this pandemic, there are no job opportunities in the city. Most jobs are being done at home, right? So now you have another shift going on where people are literally, you got people fleeing Los Angeles. They're getting the hell up out of there. Los Angeles is becoming a damn communist state. People are just fleeing these cities right now, and they're going off into the country. So what you have is society is being recalibrated once again, but this time it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Also, yeah, Courtney says she's doing homeschooling. Absolutely. People are homeschooling now. Instead of people gravitating towards the city, they're gravitating towards the country. But the only difference is, listen, we have nowhere to rely on now but the Most High God. Only place we can rely on is the Most High, the way we maneuver and operate in this system. And I'm going to show you in the scriptures how to rely on the Most High so we can begin to become more self-sufficient, utilizing our gifts that he naturally bestowed upon us. All right? Now let's go.
Here they find occupations with more prestige and security, jobs that pay more money. As a result, Negro families today often make up the largest part of Central City consumer profit.
Yep, we make up the largest consumer ratio in every major city. All right? Now check that out if you want to know how powerful your dollar is. So the idea that that we're broke and we're the most poor, and when you hear, about our people, it's always being connected to poverty, and that's just not the case. All right?
A shoe store in Chicago's Loop, for example, reports that more than 50% of its customers are Negroes. In another case, a drugstore located at a transfer point in a non-Negro neighborhood finds that its Negro customers total 25%. The trend is plain. The new Negro families today are moving into more populated areas, to the cities, where there are more stores, more buying opportunities.
Now we got to get out of that mind frame. People want to go to more populated areas because there's more stores, there's more things to buy. Listen, we have to recalibrate our whole thought process moving forward. We actually got to start to look for rural areas, country areas, where it's less traffic going through. where it's more densely populated. Because what's the point? You can't, I mean, listen, what's the point where everywhere you go, there's no customer service? The world is getting shut down as you know it. What's the point? The Lord himself is doing all of this to recalibrate how we should think. The Most High, he's purging this earth as we know it. He's doing it. It's happening right before our eyes. There's a transition and a paradigm shift taking place in this world right now. We just got to make sure we're thinking correctly. Get your mind off the bright lights in the cities because, ladies and gentlemen, it's all a mirage. When you riding through your city, it's just a mirage. It's a shadow of things to come. It's a shadow of things to come. Now let's continue.
1940, in San Francisco alone, the Negro market has increased by 89%. In Chicago, by 81%. Houston, Texas, 45%.
Wow.
Philadelphia, 50%. The impact of this new buying force is so tremendous.
New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Detroit, New Orleans, Memphis, Birmingham, St. Louis, Cleveland, Los Angeles. That's just to name a few. All right. Now, I think you all get the understanding, the power of the black dollar, right? Now, we can all, come to the conclusion that the black dollar is important, right? It's important. Now, with that being said, let's talk about becoming empowered. First and foremost, let me just put this out here. There's been a lot going on with brothers and sisters who consider themselves to be targeted individuals. I just want to take a brief moment to denounce that word altogether. I want to denounce it. We are no longer targeted individuals. We are not targeted individuals. All right. Let me put that out there again. Let me say this again. We are not targeted individuals. All right. We are empowered individuals. All right. Now I just had to put that out there. We're empowered. Anybody coming with that and they're not teaching you how to get out of that situation, leave those people alone. Because now it's time for us to start to do what we need to do in life to fulfill our purpose. We're not targeted individuals. Now, with that being said, let's get it, y'all. Let's go into these scriptures. Now, let's talk about your importance of your dollar. Let's talk business right now. We're going to start off in the book of Haggai. Haggai, that's Haggai. And we go into chapter 1, verse 6. And it reads, Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. You clothe, there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Ooh. Into a bag with holes. So listen, no matter how much you buy, no matter how much money you spend, it seems like you're buying and you're using all this purchasing power just to end up broke again. You spending all this money week in and week out, and we all just 2 paychecks away from being homeless. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to be working and not be established, right? And the scriptures is pointing this out. It's like we're earning wages and they're going into a bag that got holes in it. Like what do we have to show for it? Where's the nest egg? Where's the money in the bank? Where's the inheritance? Where's the generational wealth? This Bible is going to tell you how to acquire that. And now don't get this twisted. This is not a prosperity gospel. This is just the truth. The prosperity gospel was used for opportunistic preachers in order to steal from the people. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to empower yourself using your spiritual gifts. And this is what they're afraid of. This is the literature they ain't going to want you to tap into. what you about to learn this evening. Second Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. For even when we were with you, this were commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. A man don't work, a man don't eat. If you lethargic, if you stagnated, you won't eat. All right, the common denominator to all of this is that we got to get our grind on. We can't allow this system to stop our hustle, because everything that's going on right now in the world is designed to make you drained. From the time you walk out of your door to the time you get back in your house, you're going through all these spiritual impositions that's coming against you to leave you drained, stagnated, and stuck. They want you to give up on life. Now, a real hustler, right? A person who's really a survivor, that person is going to survive in crunch time. They're going to be strong when the going gets tough. They're going to get the going. When they tired, they just going to keep on going even when they tired. Because they know, hey, listen, if we don't work, we don't eat. If you're an individual who don't have a job, if you lost your job due to this pandemic, then you know what? Your job is to fill out applications. Your job is to find out other avenues of finances. That becomes a full-time job, figuring out how you can grind your way out of your situation. All right? So listen, a man don't work, a man don't eat. That's number one. We've established how important our dollar is. Now we're going to establish how important it is to make sure we have the hustle in us. All right? No matter what they put in mainstream media. Don't let them stop you from doing what you got to do in your life, because that's what they want to do. They want to distract you from actually taking care of your family. Because let me tell you something. When Donald Trump was in office, let's just be 100%. The economy was better than it was for a long time. And the same thing that was happening in 1954 was happening again. That's why you're seeing this hostile takeover the way you've seen it. Because with your dollars, it brings power. They don't want to see us empowered, putting our dollars in the right places, because that's what was beginning to happen. Brothers was beginning to travel. Brothers was going overseas. Brothers was doing business in other countries. Brothers and sisters. Sisters was opening up hair salons, etc., etc. They was getting it done. So they had to change, they had to swing the pendulum again. And you know, on this channel, we're not going to talk too much politics. Let's go to these scriptures here. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Listen, if you don't try to provide for your family, if you don't do everything you can as a man, right, to make sure them babies got food on their plate, to make sure everybody got clothes on their back, to make sure them bills are paid, to make sure there's a roof over your head, the Bible said you're worse than an infidel. Worse than an infidel. That's bad, man. So again, it's important that we provide for our own. All right, it's important. And this is the mind frame we got to have as brothers. No matter what, we're going to provide for our own. And we're going to do it in a holy, righteous way. All right, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom given unto life, or them that have it. Oh, wisdom is a defense. Money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge and wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Listen, you can have money as a defense. Money does keep you safe. Money does solve problems. Listen, this is not this is right here. This is not religious talk right here. This is straight up truth. To hell with all that religious talk you getting from these people who ain't trying to tell you, look, you gotta get your family straight, get your bag. Don't worry about what's going on in the world. Stay focused, hustle, do what you gotta do, because in these perilous times, brothers, money can be a defense. Let me tell you something. Money can get you a lawyer to get you out of situations. Money can put you in a residential area where you're safe. Money can help you in life. You just got to be wise with it. Let's have common sense. Let's not be overly religious here. Money is a defense, especially when you have that money with wisdom. All right. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Yes. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? Brothers, we got to get on our business. We got to be diligent. We got to get our priorities in order. All right? We got to stop chasing ass out here before we even have our business straight. Priorities. It's all about priorities, my brothers. It says, those who are diligent about their business, they shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. If you diligent about what you about, you can stand before kings, man. And when it says kings, it's talking about those in leadership. It's talking about those who are on their job. I'm telling you, hard work and dedication pays off. When you put your hand to the plow, no matter what it is you're doing, you got to do it to the best of your ability. Because eventually you grow. It's levels to it. You might start off sweeping the floor at a restaurant, but guess what? You move up because you diligent. You on work. You at work on time. You there every day on time. You work hard. You don't call out like that. You take care of your business. You're not in no drama. And guess what? Years go by. You managing that place. You district manager. Now you ain't even got to work there. You driving from place to place. You meeting up with regional managers of your city. Listen, that's a good thing. Or you started your own and you kept your hand to the plow and you just kept on moving. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He should stand before kings. He should stand not before mean men. That's a fact. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, above all nations of the earth, above all nations of the earth. If you observe to do his commandments, if you observe to do his commandments, if you observe to do all his commandments, I will set you on high above all nations of the earth. Just like in 1954, from the mid-30s to the mid-50s, we were above everybody. We had the biggest spending power, but we fell for the traps and the snares. It says, all these blessings shall come unto thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Now listen to the blessings. Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Guess what? Don't matter where you at. Yeah, you got a lot of brothers leaving to go into the country, but even if you in a city, the Lord said if you keep his commandments, he's going to bless you everywhere. Everywhere. I don't think the Lord's words are to go in vain. Are we saying that the Lord is lying to us? If we keep his command, if we are God-fearing people, honoring the traditions of the Most High, doing what we're supposed to do, are we saying that he can't bless us wherever we at? blessings in the city, blessings in the field. Blessed shall be the fruits of thy body, the fruits of thy ground, the fruits of thy cattle, the increase of thine kind, the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed be the basket in thy store. Blessed shall be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when they goeth out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies to rise up against thee and be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Man, thou shalt command the blessings upon thee in the storehouse, in the storehouse, in the storehouse, and in all that setteth thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God leadeth thee. Wherever you go, your storehouse will be filled. Instead of your finances being a bag with holes in it, your storehouse gonna be packed. You're gonna be good. That means business is gonna be great. It says, the Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, and as have unto thee. And thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. And all people on the earth shall see that thou art called by thy name, the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And they shall be afraid of thee. And they shall be afraid of thee. Now this is, look, everything you see on TV is because they are afraid of thee. We are beginning to wake up, not only spiritually, mentally, physically, but we're also beginning to wake up financially. We're changing our thought processes. It's happening right before your eyes. The media is not going to cover what's happening. But take it from a person who deals with a lot of people who are black entrepreneurs. Take it from a person who have supported a lot of black entrepreneurs. Take it from somebody who's built with them. And myself am a black entrepreneur. Trust and believe there's a shift going on that they're afraid of. They're trying to shut it all down. And the target always been small business. The target always been mom and pop stores. Then everything you see happening, this economic collapse, it's not to shut down major corporations. They're fully invested in these banks. It's to shut us down. Private business is what they would like to shut down. People who are actually on the road to entrepreneurship, which we're going to get more into that. Right now, we're focusing on growing, developing, and becoming empowered as people. But we're going to get more into details about becoming an entrepreneur. If you are interested, if you're a person who possess certain skills and you have certain characteristics about yourself that you may not even notice that you had, but after watching this particular stream, it's going to stand out to you like a sore thumb, and the gears are going to start grinding. Your mind is going to start moving. And we're in verse 11. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, and the fruit of thy land, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy ground, and the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. You'll be plenteous in goods. You'll have everything you need. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give thee rain unto the land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow, meaning you'll be the banks. If we would just honor God's laws, we would be lending to other people. You wouldn't have to go to the bank. You wouldn't have to go to BB&T and Wells Fargo. You'd be lending to other nations. If we just honor God's laws as a whole, if you didn't have all this conscious community, all these esoteric believers, you got these damn Lil Uzi Vert, he damn embedding diamonds in the middle of his head because that's where the third eye symbolism come from. You got all this weirdo stuff going on. But if we just get back to our book, hey, we'll be the head and not the tail, man. And it says, and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, or go after other gods to serve them. So number one, we got to get rid of all these idol gods. Get rid of the paganism. Get rid of the esoteric spiritual leaders. They're not teaching you the truth. Go ahead and throw all that stuff on out the window. Because the moment where you do, the Lord's going to start blessing you. Trust and believe. He's going to start blessing you. Now, everything you gain serving other gods, you're going to lose all of it. You're going to lose all of it. He's going to break you down to the decimal. You're not going to have nothing. You're going to feel stranded in this world. But he's going to build you back up. All right. Romans chapter 12, verse 11. Be not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Don't be slothful in business. You have to keep a fervent spirit serving the Lord. All right. Now we go into Matthew chapter 25 and 14. This right here is for all you brothers and sisters who are considering a life of entrepreneurship. I'm going to show you that the Lord gives you everything you need. The Most High gives you everything you need to acquire success on this earth, to give you exactly what you were blessed to have, what you were ordained to have. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. Now listen carefully. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another he gave 2, to another he gave 1, to every man according to his several abilities, and straightway took his journey. So here it is. We all have different talents. We all have different skills. We possess these various talents and skills according to our several abilities. The kingdom of heaven is so vast, it's almost like a servant traveling abroad, delivering goods to someone in a foreign land. So what that means is, everywhere you go, you are literally a walking, talking business. You possess the goods from heaven, from the heavenly realm. Everywhere you move, it's in your spirit, it's in your DNA. The Lord possessed you with these talents, these gifts. So everywhere you go, it's like you can survive. And I don't know if you ever met these type of people, but it's people who, anywhere they go, they land on their feet. That's how the Most High's people are. Everywhere we go, we can leave from one state to the next. We can go from one city to the next. Every single place we dwell, anywhere we go habitate, a lot of us can just land on our feet. We know how to start over. We know how to make sure we good, because we already possess those goods. It's already with us. It's in the spirit. It says, and unto one he gave 5 talents. Some of us got more talents than others. All right. To another he gave 2. To one, to every man according to his several abilities, and straightway took his journey. So let go of everything that you see. I need you to clear your minds, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to focus and hone in on what I'm saying right now. Clear your mind of everything you see before you. It's a shadow of things to come. Think about where you're going to be going. Think about the fact that you have spiritual currency. That the Lord already He gave you these gifts, He gave you these talents that you already possess. And everywhere you go, it's like a good that you're delivering. All right? It says, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. See, when we begin to, man, this is speaking volumes right now. When we begin to join our spiritual gifts together, you start to build. The person that had these 5 abilities, they begin to share those 5 abilities with someone who has 2. Then in terms, they take those 2 and get those abilities, and they get them from those 2. And now they both receive gifts. It says, but he that have received 1 went and digged in the earth, and it said, hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of the servants cometh and reckoned with them. Well, listen, pay attention. And reckoned with them. And so that he had received 5 talents, came, brought 5, saying, thou Lord, deliver us unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained besides them 5 talents more. 5 talents more. So it's almost like you planting that seed. You have to have trust in yourself. Some of us have let go of some of our ambitions, some of our childhood ambitions. Some of us have stopped sowing into ourselves. We stopped planting those seeds. We stopped nourishing our gifts. We stopped nourishing our talents. We essentially gave up. The scriptures is telling us that we have to nurture them. Not only that, we must trade these gifts among each other. We must plant that seed. It says, his Lord said unto his faithful servant. Let me read that again. Let me see. Yes, here we go. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Them which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee, that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where he has not sown. And then it's going into how people reap where they haven't sown, gather where they haven't sown, and so on and so forth. But we wanted to pay more attention to, if we just sow and we plant into our gifts and our talents, that listen, you just taking the initiative to invest in a few things. If you just take the initiative to invest in a few things that the Most High gave you, he can bless you over many things. That's the bottom line of that, of those parables there. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. A feast is made with laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Yes, that's the Bible. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. I know some people are like, what? Money answer all things? No, what are you talking about? Money don't answer all things. Yes, money is a defense. All right. It says a feast is made for laughter. Yeah, you get around, you have dinner, you laugh. Wine maketh you merry, makes you happy. But money answer more than that. Meaning food, look, food and wine is cool, but you can't get stuck in food and wine. You can't be satisfied in that. Listen, we got other issues that we got to tackle as a nation. So yes, money is important. It answers all things. And it's talking about, let's put everything in proper context. It's talking about all things on earth that require substance. All right. Unfortunately, you live in a capitalistic society. You have to be a realist and not be religious. All right. It just so happens that in the Hebraic faith, we are taught to hate on everybody who makes a dollar. I mean, we're taught that. I mean, we're taught to pocket watch. We're taught to beat crabs in a barrel. We're taught to shoot the next man down when he's successful. And in the Christian church, we're taught to give all of our resources to a pastor who's just trying to take it from us. And the conscious community is just swindling people. Like, that's what we got to choose from. And the conscious community, they just a bunch of people who steal money from the people. So it's like, now we got to empower ourselves. Know the importance of our dollar. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 14. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest out thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress each other. If you buy and sell from your neighbor, you will not oppress each other. And that's what I learned really going to Black Wall Street. When I visited Black Wall Street, there was a lot of valuable lessons I learned there. I learned that, You know, it's important to buy from your own. Like all you women out there who do hair, you know, do nails, you know, instead of going to other nations, you know, you got to do it in your neighborhood. Keep the dollar fluctuating in your own community. Because the Bible tells us if we buy and sell to our neighbors, we won't oppress each other. Because by process of elimination, if you're not supporting your interests, you're supporting your enemy. Thank you for the super chat, sis. I appreciate you. Thank you for your $20 contribution. Yeah, if by process of elimination, if you don't buy and sell from your neighbor, then you're going to be supporting your enemy. So ultimately, you're oppressing your own people because you refuse to support your own people. Either you're going to support your people or suppress your people. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this again. Either you're going to support your people or you're going to oppress your people. There's no gray areas in the scripture. There's no gray areas. You either are supporting your people or oppressing them. It's like when I started my Patreon account, just an example. I had people who were naysayers. No, man, you charging for the word, you doing this. That's an oppressor. That's someone who's oppressing their people. But that same person got AT&T, that same person got the cable channels and supporting nations that don't have nothing to do with us. That same person got cable stations, but that same person will convince you not to support your own. That's what we're living in. Either you're going to oppress your people or you're going to support your people. There's nowhere in between. And there's a spirit that comes on certain people. There is a demon that come on people to literally oppress their own. They can't stand to see their own kind winning. Now, I knew this particular video wasn't going to do the numbers because anytime I talk on a topic like this, they shadow ban it. It just is what it is. I knew that. I knew that going in. I said that when I started this video. I said, man, they're not going to allow this video to fluctuate because I spoke on similar topics and the same thing every time. That's how I know it's the truth. These videos right here, when I'm speaking on empowerment, entrepreneurship, and just really getting our finances and our mind calibrated, these are the videos they never spread. They never spread them. It never fails. It never fails. And these are the best videos. These are the videos that have the most information. Proverbs 16:11. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bags are his work. So even if you buying and selling among your people, the Most High God says a just weight and balance are the Lord's. That means you have to do things fair. You have to get the highest quality. You have to make sure you're giving people a fair amount of substance. Like for instance, when you go and buy a bag of chips, you spend $2.99, $3 for a bag of chips about that big, but it's this much air in the bag. We not supposed to conduct business like that. If you buying and selling among your people, you're supposed to make sure they get the best of the best quality, hands down. And everything got to be balanced and fair. You understand? Everything got to be balanced and fair. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 1. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. That means whatever you do. I don't care if you sweeping floors. I don't care whatever you do. The Lord tells you to do it with thy might. Because guess what? There's no work in the grave. You're going to get the rest in peace. So while you living, brothers, we have no idle time. As long as we living, we got to be moving to try to set up for our grandbabies. We got to be moving and shaking. We got to be out here grinding. We got to be putting our hand to the plow. Whatever we do, we got to do it with might. I'm telling you, there ain't a job that I haven't worked where I wasn't the hardest one working. I tell you that right now. And that's just the facts. It ain't a job that I have worked that I didn't pride myself on being the hardest one working there. If it was somebody that came in there and that was working harder than me, I was watching them. I'm like, man, you staying again? You staying late again? Well, I'm staying late too. You staying late? I'm staying late. You understand? That's the type of might you got to come with. I'm talking about, man, you got to outwork everybody. You got to. Whatever you do, put your hand to the plow with all thy might. Because guess what? The Lord always rewards hard work. He always rewards your hard work and never fails. He's going to reward it. For real. Now, let's go to Forbes magazine real quick. I'm going to go to Forbes magazine. And I was reading this interesting article. Yeah, YouTube is playing with the numbers, DJ. They do that on these videos. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't get notified. They're doing that because of the topic. I've spoke on this before. They don't like this topic. They don't like this topic. They actually rather me speak about something else, but it is what it is. As long as y'all made it here. As long as y'all made it here this evening, no worries. Now we're going into the 4 types of entrepreneurs. Which type are you? And this is in Forbes magazine. And I just wanted to go here because some of y'all are entrepreneurs and don't even know it. And some of y'all do know it. And I think this might influence you to move in the right direction. And this is Forbes magazine. I think this is a good article. DNA by Joe Abraham. Interesting book called Entrepreneur DNA. Joe Abraham, the founder of Bossy Global, an operating partner to venture-backed ownership operating companies. Now let's just go into the 5. Or it's 4, pardon me. Number 1, you have a builder. A drive to build highly scalable businesses by very fast when this DNA is high in an individual. They break post revenue. That's because those individuals measure success through a very unique lens, infrastructure. It drives the decision to make and the strategy to build and deploy. All right, so you have some people who are builders. You may be one of those people. You have the need to have a crew, hire a certain amount of people under you and continue to build your business up. You know, these are people who typically like to control the temperature and really begin to build. They start off small and they build up. All right, some of y'all are like that. Some of y'all been building Legos since a child, didn't even know you was a builder. Then you have an opportunist. And I'm not going to read all of them. I'm going to break down the meaning from my perspective. And then you have an opportunist. That's one who sees something going on in society and takes it and takes the opportunity to make some money off of it. Like you got all these people coming out with masks and all of that. Listen, you got to wear the mask anyway, right? So you got people making masks. Those are opportunists, right? Those are the opportunists. And then you got a specialist. You got somebody who has a certain quality of skills that they possess, and they can take these skills and use them wherever they go. You know, for one, I'm good with building firearms. I can build AR-15s. I'm slightly experienced in Galils, just rifle prototypes. You know, I'm a specialist when it comes to that. Anywhere I go, I know how to do it. But that's just one thing. Then you got an innovator. An innovator is somebody who comes up with something like your Mark Zuckerbergs. And you come up with something that's just different and you're very creative. And a lot of innovators, they make clothes because they got ideas that nobody else came up with. You know, and all of these categories, I just wanted to list those real quick because somewhere a lot of our people fit into this. We fit into this, but we don't have these discussions. And a lot of times when our children have gifts, we try to guide their paths instead of seeing where they fit in. Listen, I don't think our people were supposed to work for anybody. All right? The Most High God's chosen are not supposed to be working for anybody. We possess gifts. As children, those gifts need to be nourished. They need to be directed. It's certain things that we should be doing, and we should be doing it for ourselves. And, you know, I just think we should really focus and hone in on that just a little bit more. Yeah, somebody said they definitely an opportunist. That's what's up. Hey, sometimes you got to be an opportunist. Somebody said they're very creative. You would go into the lines of an innovator. Somebody said, brother, the devil is working 24/7. Remember when Satan went to heaven with the other angels and God and asked where he been? He replied, going to and fro to devour the earth. Yep. There's a lot going on, man. For those who don't know, I did a live stream last night, on New Breed Music and Motivation. I got a new show that I'm about to air out. I did the first edition of the story behind the song, and it's going to be dope. Like, for y'all who like my music, I got a song, you know, I got various songs that I was going to do lessons behind the song or the story behind the song. For example, I'll do Marcus Garvey. I have a song called Marcus Garvey. You know, I'll do a lesson about Marcus Garvey, play the song on the intro and the outro, and go ahead and do a stream on that channel. So if you're not subscribed to New Breed Music and Motivation, once this stream ends, make sure you go over there and show your support. Yeah, somebody said great music. That's what's up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Somebody said it's an arm wrestle for the planet, literally. I agree. Tonea Miller says, I was born to be a leader, CEO, president, and entrepreneur. I've been this way since a child, and I just realized that in December. Facts. And I'm going to speak that into your existence. Blessings. And I'm glad you know who you are. And you're going to get there. New Breed, can I send you some music? Yeah, my email is in the description box. Somebody said you should not be using astrology that's not of the Most High. Absolutely not. Astrology was taught by fallen angels. And a lot of the times when people get involved in astrology, they prejudge people. A lot of the times, people who are involved in astrology, they take on the negative characteristics. Like, for example, a Virgo, it may say that a Virgo is stubborn, right? So a person would basically rebel in that behavior and say, well, I'm a Virgo, so I'm stubborn, even though being stubborn is a negative. That's a negative thing. You understand? That's a negative characteristic. And honestly, when you're born again through the Spirit, you know, none of those things have any bearing over you. Become a new person. You become renewed. And regardless of what month you was born, none of those things hold any weight on you. You understand? Somebody said, I'm ready to do God's work with my business. Facts. And this thing, the Lord gives us all the gifts we need. He gives us all the gifts we need. Somebody said, you wonder why you can't keep a job that's not meant to be. Absolutely. You know, some of us are not meant to be working for nobody. And if you look at the condition of the world, the Lord let us know. He let us know that it's time for us to figure something else out because it's not working. And it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter if you're in the country. Doesn't matter if you're in the city. Let me make that clear. Honor God's laws everywhere you go. It is what it is. It just so happens you got a lot of people moving from the city to the countries to find themselves, to find some peace, because it's getting worse in the cities. Because they're trying to target a specific group of people. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, somebody said peace is very important. Absolutely. Yeah, Cordell Williams says, I know astrology is a lie because I'm a Libra, and it says we are very social, charming, and love big gatherings, which is a damn near polar opposite of me. Yeah, I mean, that stuff don't hold no bearing. It's just a way for people to prejudge, and you know, it's just total nonsense. I don't even look into what mine say. I can care less. I can care less about that. I just know who I am spiritually, according to the Most High. I'm a child of Israel from the tribe of Judah. So I just live my life according to the word. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's always an excellent time building with y'all. I look forward to our next stream. My next stream will be tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, towards the evening, a little bit afternoon. Patreon will be the site I'll be streaming on. All right. But I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for catching the stream. Hopefully it helped y'all in your walk and your journey. If it did, make sure you share this video. Thank y'all for coming through, showing y'all support. Y'all have a blessed evening. With that being said, shalom and peace.